Okay, Alright, it's working right for once. This camera's a piece of shit. It's been skipping in most of the stuff I've been saying and anything else, so yeah, I got it to finally work, alright? Alright. This time I'm here to complain about two games. Okay. That Castlevania Lords of Shadows and also the Splatterhouse game. And I'm going to basically tell you why in about a few seconds, so keep watching. Okay, I'm going to pat down this once, okay? Castlevania Lord of Shadows really sucks, okay? And you should at least know this. I cannot believe it even got good ratings. Because that game is a piece of fucking ripoff of crap. It rips off God of War majorly, the whole battle system and shit. And they're even similar, which is a complete pain in the fucking ass. I mean, really. They just basically just butchered that and used that. Also, with some of the larger bosses, they used parts of Shadow of the Colossus, apparently, with that. Which is a complete pain. Sucks, too. I mean, I cannot believe that that game even got a good rating because of that shit. That is a load of fucking crap. It doesn't even deserve to even have a sequel or that in 3D. They should just go back to the fucking 2Ds because those were actually good. Also, it even used parts of Devil May Cry with the dodging system and all that shit too. That is complete asinine. This game is just complete bullshit and other crap. Okay, it just entirely rips off too much of God of War, or Shadow of the Colossus, and Devil May Cry. Okay. Yeah, those are the three games it butchered. God of War is basically better than that piece of shit. I'd rather play that. Anyways, they should just stop making 3D versions of Castlevania. Unless it's a side-scroller. Because this game is a total piece of shit. Okay? Okay, I'm going to tell you about the Splatterhouse remake. I can't believe you fucking assholes rated this game that low. Okay, this game was a fucking remake, and it was an amazement they even came out with this. Yeah, it did use the God of War system in it, a little bit of it. Okay, but that's the first time I've ever seen it used in this game. Castlevania Lords of Shadows doesn't have an excuse for that. It's a fucking 3D game. And they've done so many of them, and it's been out in 3D so many times. Splatterhouse hasn't been out for years. At least it had an excuse. I mean, what other game are you going to find out where you can decapitate monsters like that back then? I mean, really, come on. You cannot say that this game ain't... You never wanted to, like, chainsaw huge-ass monsters and shit. They were blown up with a shotgun and crap. It even had Biggie Man from the first one in it. What? You never noticed? There was actually ones that came out earlier. 3 Splatterhouses. They had number 1. It was actually the first game that actually, back then, ever had so much blood, guts, and gore. And where you could side-scroll beat the shit out of monsters with baseball bats, with fucking metal pipes, cleavers. You could even use a shotgun in it and throw spears and crap in it. That was fucking amazing. That was the first game you could ever do that stuff. And the boss fights were awesome, too. Especially when you first met Biggie Man in the game. With the guy with the 2 chainsaws. That was probably the only horror enemy that I ever known to ever wield 2 chainsaws in a game. That is freaking amazing. Yeah, right there. Then in the second one, it's a lot more harder because of the poor hit detection. That's the only reason why I didn't like it, but it was still pretty badass because your mask was different and the dude looked even more bulkier. But the only problem was the controls and the hit detection was just bad. I mean, other than that, this game kicked ass. It was pretty awesome. The only problem was I could never get through the first frickin' boss. And that sucked. But then they had a third one. The third one was like Streets of Rage. Apparently there was even a timer on there, which basically, if you took too long screwing around the house, well, something bad would happen, which would affect the ending of the game. It had a couple endings in it that were possible, which was pretty sweet. Also, it had weapons in it. The only thing that sucked was if you got knocked down, you lost the weapon, and you had to go back to a certain room to get it. Because Ghost would drop it there and shit like that. And you had a life bar instead of hearts, which was pretty neat. Which basically is more effective since it made you not die so frickin' quick. Then there was a power bar, which basically made you a lot more freaking macho than before. And also you had a mutation ability attack, which hit all enemies near you. This was really effective when you were surrounded and crap like that. This was probably best used against bosses since, you know, most of the bosses are basically so damn hard to kill. And, anyways, it pretty much affects how you play the game. The reason why they had the remake, I'm amazed they even made a remake. You should be at least glad they even decided to make it, considering all the crap people said about it. Anyways, if they do make a sequel, I hope it is better. But anyway, let me go back to the remake again. Alright? This at least had a story in it. Instead of basically you just wake up and then next thing you know you're fighting a bunch of fucking zombies. Instead, it starts out that how he gets the mask, okay? That's pretty damn sweet. When he first gets it, it is pretty amazing. He's on the ground, nearly dead, and the mask offers to help him. At least that had some story in it, you gotta admit. I can admit that some of the heavy metal was too much heavy metal in it. Not to be a big dick about this, but some of the classical music could have been nice. I mean, not to screw it up or anything, but just a little bit, you know. I mean, heavy metal is awesome when you're combating bosses or a bunch of enemies in certain parts. Or if you're performing splatter kills and shit like that. If that's what those things are called again. Because that's when they should have, like, all that blood and guts and shit on the screen. I mean, but not to cover it up, you know. Because when you're fighting, too much blood and guts get on the screen, it's kind of hard to kill enemies. That's the only thing that's pretty difficult. But I'm amazed they even made a remake of this game. At least they had an excuse for using the God of War system, okay? So come on, guys. At least play it. Alright? Just try it out. Don't be a total dick and say it sucked and shit. Yeah, it may be tough, but that's what Splatterhouse is about. Fucking slaughtering monsters and shit. Hardcore. Yeah. You know, that's all I have to say. Well, I know anybody who loves that game is gonna really hate me then. So, to be honest, fuck you. I don't really care. So just to show something fun and shit, I got a chain whip off of TrueSwords.com. So I'll show you a Belmont. Oh look, I'm a fucking Belmont. I can twirl a whip and hit vampires with it. And zombies and crap. It doesn't make me look like a total fetish, and also don't. I'm a hater, because it basically makes me look cool killing stuff. Oh, look. Yeah, anyways, yeah, that's pretty much what it's like. Alright? See ya.